Good morning, everyone. Lots going on as usual. And I mean, Catherine McKenna is in the news. She is always making excuses. And this time she says, I'll do better next time. I'll do better next time. She's had lots of opportunities. I mean, it's climate minister. She allowed human feces to be discharged into the St. Lawrence in both Montreal and then also in BC, right? Like that was a regular thing that the Conservatives were going to stop and had a plan to stop by, I think, 2018. And that just, forget about that. And then she was moved into the infrastructure portfolio. And during her tenure, she hasn't built anything. She's done a lot of financial stuff with her ministry, but she hasn't really accomplished anything concrete. And that's concerning, right? Here is, and do better next time for transparency. I mean, we need to fix this, she says. Sure. Hey, the last people I expect to actually fix this are the Liberals. The CPC, the Conservative Party of Canada, is running into trouble as well. Aaron O'Toole's leadership is being questioned by the media at large, and Rex Glacier is responding to, well, he's pointing out Ed Fast took over the finance critic role from Pierre Poilievre, and Ed Fast tweeted out on April 20th that this is not a budget that has been developed to fight the pandemic. This budget was developed to help the Liberals fight an election, which pretty much everybody was saying, like, this is an election style budget. Lots of promises, lots of targeted spending for groups that the Liberals don't want to leave behind, want to make sure that they're getting the votes out, right? That's basically what it is. And Rex Glacier says, on February 10th, 2021, the CPC replaced Pierre Poilievre with Ed Fast as finance critic. This was his budget response tweet. He has since tweeted four other times since April 20th. Feel free to read them. What the heck is going on at CPC headquarters? And that's a good question. That's a good question. It seems like they just don't want to win. They just don't want to win. And I mean, they don't even want to really seriously engage on issues they could really engage on. There are a lot of things to hit Trudeau on. The wholesale shelving of the rights and freedoms of Canadians. The Charter of Rights and Freedoms is suspended. I'll show you lots of stuff about that throughout the show today, both on YouTube and on Rumble. But I think that it's very interesting that the CPC is floundering so badly. It's not like Trudeau's done a good job with vaccine procurement or with maintaining the economy or with anything. If you listen to Mr. Mauclair, Trudeau's done a good job. But if you listen to anybody at the park or anybody at the grocery store, if they'll let you get close enough to talk to them, then Mr. Trudeau has not done a good job, right? Like, and it's not close. There's not, I mean, I'm sure there are people out there who think that Mr. Trudeau's done a wonderful job, but by and large, there are people who are very frustrated with the response at every single level, and I am one of them. Definitely one of them. All right, moving forward. Canadian federal court rules Trudeau COVID hotels violate charter protection against arbitrary detention. Yay, right? Like, that's a win, right? Like, you would expect if the court says, yes, this violates your basic rights and we need to address this immediately. They didn't say that we need to address this immediately because an interim injunction, which would have required 9 Canadians to isolate in government-controlled hotels, has been denied on Monday by a federal court. So I'm not sure if the injunction, the way I read it initially is that they weren't going to do anything about this. But reading that, it seems like maybe they prevented these people from having to isolate. So hold on, I'm going to find out exactly what's going on. Okay, after reading this a few times, it seems like the injunction prevented these people from having to go to the hotels. So the injunction was ruled against the federal government, meaning that the people did not have to isolate. So they actually did do something. They said, yes, this violates your constitutional rights, and no, the government can't do that, so you don't have to isolate. It says here, the 9 people in question, despite having tested negative for COVID-19, would have had to stay in a hotel as directed by government officials. They would have had to remain locked in their hotel rooms for a total of at least 3 days and would have been sent a bill for at least $2,000 for expenses. So that's good. That's a positive thing. I don't know if that creates the precedent needed to stop the hotel quarantine isolation policy in its tracks. I don't know if it, I mean, obviously people are going to appeal. There's going to be back and forth about this, but I don't know if I mean, that's one step in the right direction. But remember when an Alberta court said that the carbon tax was not constitutional, and when it went to the Supreme Court said, sure it is. Right? So yeah, well, what are you going to do? Right? What are you going to do? So Here is moving forward. Please follow public health. Yesterday, I showed you a tweet by Catherine McKenna that was talking about the forces and how they would talk about freedom and how choosing to not wear a mask is not really freedom. And the context in that is Catherine McKenna and Derek Sloan were having a Twitter war. So that's an interesting situation. When MPs are removed from caucus and made independent, they have a more vocal approach, it seems, usually. And it's kind of interesting when people get into public arguments like this. So Catherine McKenna is responding to Derek Sloan. Derek Sloan says, "Great turnout in Barrie this afternoon. I have something meeting so many Canadians passionate about our freedom. I promise you I'll never stop fighting for you." And in response to that, McKenna says, "Freedom is fighting to save the lives of our fellow Canadians who are dying from COVID. How about fighting for them? You have the honor of representing your constituents in the House of Commons. This is the opposite of leadership. It's disgraceful," she says. Which, I like, you can have a disagreement, but like back it up a little bit, Miss McKenna. And then she doubles down and encourages people to follow health guidelines. So blah, 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 blah. I just wanted to give context because I reported about it yesterday and I didn't understand. I thought this is a weird tweet. This is a weird tweet to see, and it wasn't like it was linked up like they were having a real Twitter war like that. It was screenshots and stuff, so I didn't see the context right away. Anyway, moving on. Free speech. Free speech is under attack in Ontario and Canada. Remember when Harper warned us that the Liberals would tax Netflix? Media laughed at that, and now here we are. Oh, yes. Ottawa moves to regulate video posted on YouTube. Oh, goodness me. Posted on YouTube and social media called an assault on free speech. And yeah, I think that it definitely is. It is not good. Critics say if the Bill C-10 amendment is really meant to control the online posting of unlicensed music, TV, and movies, a copyright approach would be the proper mechanism. The Liberal-dominated House of Commons Heritage Committee has cleared the way for the federal government to regulate video content on internet, social media such as YouTube, the same way it regulates national broadcasting under a new amendment made to a bill updating the Broadcasting Act. Critics denounced the move to give the country's broadcast regulators the ability to oversee the user-generated content and said it amounts to an attack on the free expression of Canadians, particularly in light of Heritage Minister Stephen Guilbeault's recent plans to give Ottawa power to order takedowns of online content it deems objectionable. Granting a government agency authority over legal user-generated content, particularly when backed up by government musings about taking down websites, doesn't just infringe on free expression, it constitutes a full-blown assault upon it, and through it, the foundations of democracy, said Peter Menzies, a former commissioner of the CRTC. It's difficult to contemplate the levels of moral hubris, incompetence, or both that would lead people to believe such an infringement of rights is justifiable, said Menzies. Yeah, yes. You egotistical, maniacal tyrants. Get your hands off our free speech. Thank you. Is it wrong that politicians delete critical posts on their social media? Ha! Right? They want to regulate posts that you and I make online, but then they want to delete the posts that we make criticizing them. Right? Like this is all about an Instagram post. Should a politician delete comments on their social media pages if they don't like them? The issue came up for me when I was contacted by a listener of my radio show. This isn't me. This is the John Agar, I think. The listener responded to an Instagram post by Etobicoke Centre MP Evan Baker. Baker had posted a note glorifying his government's new budget. He wrote, "Budget 21 is focused on the fight against COVID-19, healing the economic wounds left by the COVID recession, and supporting the creation of more jobs and prosperity for Canadians in the decades to come." They didn't mention small businesses there, did they? My listeners... And, I'll switch this back. My listeners, I have the screenshot of the post before Baker deleted it, wrote, "Start healing the wounds by preventing new ones. Your government's utter lack of backbone at borders, especially airports, has now led to a new variant. This one in particular is entirely on you. Shut it down now." Baker's response to me was that he only deletes messages from constituents if they're disrespectful, spread misinformation, or are off topic. Was that response to the MP disrespectful? That is subjective, but it was not profane, didn't call Baker names, and contained no threats. Maybe capital letters are rude. Was it misinformation? It was a strong opinion. Arguably, variants came across the border somehow. Who else oversees the border but the federal government? I take the phrase "on you" to mean the Liberal government, which Baker represents for the constituent living in Etobicoke. Was it off topic? No, it was a response to the claim that the federal government is healing wounds. The writer pointed out that there are other wounds to heal and ones that are perhaps more urgent. Admittedly, my listener became a bit of an activist, having some friends post similar responses to Baker's Instagram. They were deleted, so it was not a one-off. So I think that it's interesting. The federal government desperately wants to regulate your YouTube, your posts on Facebook. Oh, National Post is caught up with me. They want to regulate all that, but they do not want you to dare question them on their comment section on their social media to the extent where they will just delete you, right? They'll delete the comment. Oh, sorry about that. Beep, gone, right? Get it gone. And further, they're making illegal reporting on evictions, right? This story would be illegal when the new law passes, as it contains clips of LTB hearings. Why is it so important to restrict public access to public hearings? Clearly, activists posting them embarrassed the Ford government. Ontario could fine people $25,000 for recording eviction hearings. Just got to stop those whistleblowers. That's what the cause of all our problems are, right? If people didn't know about the scandals, there wouldn't be any scandals. Simple, right? Jeepers creepers, use your head, guys. Frustrated Canadians, line 5, everyone. Whew, I don't know, man. I don't know. This is very concerning. I said to my friend, do you think $3 rationed gas would get people's attention? Do you think people would then say this has been badly managed? That these people should not be in charge anymore? Do you think then people would wake up? I don't think so. I think they would say, drive past the gas station and go, ooh. Drive past a closed gas station first, and then drive past one that's got like $5 or $6 gas, right? Rationed at 5 liters because you can't buy more than that, right? Why? Oh, because you don't need to go further than 5 kilometers, right? And if you go further than 5 kilometers, well, I mean, that's a bad social choice, just like not wearing your mask, and they'll get you for it. This is where we're going, guys. They're going to use every lever and every crisis to their advantage. Look at this. This is a pipeline that has been running since the 1950s. They're going to shut this thing down. They're shutting it down. May 18th, tick-tock. And I hope I'm wrong. I hope there's something that some person in a cape, maybe blonde locks, anytime now, somebody show up and fix this mess. I don't think there is a fix to this mess. I think we're barreling off a cliff into some terrible, awful times, and I hope that I'm wrong. But every single day we tick closer to this, every single day I think, oh my goodness, it seems more and more like there's no other outcome, right? Frustrated Canada presses White House to keep Great Lakes oil pipeline open. This is line 5. Canada is pushing on several diplomatic fronts against the U.S. state of Michigan's efforts to close a cross-border oil pipeline, the second such dispute since Joe Biden became U.S. president in January, complicating the government's effort to work together to lower carbon emissions. The conflict over the aging but key pipeline heightens the disruptions caused by a global shift away from fossil fuels. We're not shifting away from fossil fuels. This pipeline carries 50% of the gas to Ontario, 50% of the gas to Quebec, and 100% of the jet fuel to Ontario's Pearson Airport. What an we're almost off fossil fuels. It's like we're almost finished eating as soon as I'm done at this buffet. As soon as I'm done here, as soon as I'm done eating all this, we're done. We're not done. Okay, we're going to head over to Rumble because the rest of the stuff I'm going to talk about is too hot for YouTube. They don't like it, right? The redacted portion of the show. Somebody suggested that. I like that. That's kind of good. So we'll brand it that way maybe for now. And so come on over to YouTube. Excuse me, not YouTube. Come on over to BitChute or Odysee or Rumble for the rest of the show. There's so much more going on. There's a crazy amount of stuff going on. So join me there. If not, that's fine. Check out CanadaPoly.com. Check out CanadaReport.co. Check out SpeakingVoicely.co. Have a wonderful, wonderful day.